All right, ladies and gentlemen, it is Fantasy Football Harsh Reality. I'm your host, Greg Romero Wilson, and join me again this week from the Comedians League,
Manny Maldonado.
Mr. Manny Maldonado. That's right.
Obviously, we're taking this show on the road, and now we're back in LA, so it's great to be back.
Yeah, man, we're back in LA. We're doing it. We're here at the studio in Culver City where we create Funny You Should Ask, and we're taking a little time here to do the Fantasy Football Harsh Reality Podcast. And remember last time I started it, I said it's the show where 20 random people from across America get shitty advice from a couple comedians. Okay, one of our 20 people actually emailed me and was like, hey, I'm one of those 20 people. I fucking love your show. He's like, I want in on it. I want to Skype in. Well, here's the thing. I'm not that technical. No. I'm not that good with the tech part, and so when it comes to you Skyping in, I'll figure it out, but I haven't figured it out this week, but we'll reach out. Sure, why not? We'll have you on the show.
If Greg was to get picked up by a sponsor and maybe give him a studio where we have access so we can get all that technical stuff, now that'd be another story.
That'd be different. Right now, we're doing this is what we got, and you can enjoy it. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for being one of our 20 fans this week. Now, let's talk about last week, week 11. It was a week where I should have won at least 2 of my 3 games, and instead I lost all 3 in horrifying fashion. And again, now the week before, as we talked about, I lost to him in our funny league
by one point. So, but Greg upped the notch this week by losing by 0.29 points,
something like that.
Under a point,
under
pretty
a
much.
half point. It was under a half a point.
In the league that we're in, I think that's only happened like maybe once or twice, and this was the 3rd time. So. Tough loss, buddy.
Boy, I'll tell you, and the thing, all I needed was Tom Brady to throw one more ball, or Jordan Howard completely fucking sucked and got nothing done, which, by the way, remember we were talking about how Green Bay was one of the teams where the defense had quit. Well, apparently that doesn't apply when they play Chicago.
And it was a rivalry game.
The biggest rivalry in the NFL.
In the history, and we should have kind of saw that coming, but we didn't because we thought Green Bay was so pathetic on Monday night.
So bad.
And we thought they were just going to lay a flat egg. And
instead they came out and fought hard, and they actually beat Chicago.
They ran the ball right down the throat in Chicago, right?
Yeah, in Chicago. I couldn't believe it.
That was a shocking game.
And in fact, let's talk about the parlays, because we're in Vegas, as you know.
We're having a good time with this parlay stuff. Couple dollars here, couple dollars there.
Things got a little loose. Things got a little loose in Vegas. But we were betting parlays, and so my parlay was the Redskins at home versus the Vikings. They were actually not
a pick 'em
minus. They were minus a point and a half.
Yeah,
minus a point and a half at home. This is a team that had just been to Seattle, and Minnesota came in and butt fucked them.
I mean, because I don't know if you guys got the memo, but all of a sudden Casey Keenum knows how to play.
Totally. I mean, I was
it's
like,
a legit defense. That was a legit defense.
I was like,
he was dropping 4 touchdowns in the first half.
And this was the first game of our parlay, so automatically. And here's the, we had talked about the Browns because the Browns spread was 12.5, and so I was going to go with the Browns. And the guy behind the counter at the sportsbook was like, you don't want to pick the Browns. He was like, you don't want to trust the Browns for anything. And he was right, because they ended up getting beat by like 14 or 15.
I took the Browns and the points, and I looked like a genius in the first quarter. I was like 10-0.
Totally, dude. Yes. I showed him like the Browns.
And then in the 4th quarter, it was like, it was bittersweet because I got Matthew Stafford on my fantasy.
Right.
But it was like back to life, back to reality. They ended up winning by 15 points.
And that was the other thing. Matthew Stafford, I hate this guy. 8 points.
Always wakes up in the 4th quarter.
8 points in the first half, and somehow wound up with 32 points. And here's the thing. Okay, he gets 32 points. Tom Brady throws for 3 touchdowns, no interceptions. Okay, and he only has 26 points. I fucking hate. Sometimes the math of fantasy football drives me crazy.
It's tricky. It all depends what league you're on, and like we said, it's where they throw the touchdowns. Remember, you could have 32 points, but if you throw those touchdowns past 15, 20
yards. Right, exactly. It's a bomb.
Those look
not worth, right. It's,
rather than the 5-yarders. But hey.
Exactly, and that's the thing. And Brady's been doing everything dink and dunk. So the points, while still good. And that's the thing. You can't be upset if someone still gets you 20 to 25, 26 points consistently. When you get Tom Brady, you go high for Tom Brady, you need 30 points.
I got a quick question for you. One of my friends just called me right now and asked me, would you trade for straight up Julio Jones for AJ Green? I'm like, yes. Only because Julio Jones has 1 touchdown. AJ Green has just as many targets as him, but he has he's produced more. What do you think about that?
To me, it's a
What would you
push.
do?
It's a push. I don't see there being an advantage either way because one, they both have a history of getting injured.
Yes.
So especially down the stretch, and so who's going to be there? They're both as fragile.
Yeah.
As the other. And then the other thing is okay. So it was last week a get right game for Atlanta versus the Cowboys.
Yeah.
Are we now seeing the Atlanta team that they're supposed to be?
That's what everybody is trying to figure out right
or
now.
were the Cowboys struggling so hard losing Zeke that their balance, which really this is the thing, they gave up the run, trying to do it all through the air. They're not a passing attack team. They really only have one. Even Dez, it's hard for me to even say he's an elite receiver because while he is a great receiver, he just doesn't see the volume that an AJ Green or a Julio Jones sees.
Correct.
So that being the case, was this really a get right game or did they just hit the Cowboys at the exact right time?
Well, we're gonna find out a lot. We'll get
this
to that,
week versus Seattle.
We'll get to that game later, but I just wanted to ask you a straight question because I pretty much said it was kind of like even Steven.
It is. It's a toss up.
It's a toss up. You don't know who will get injured first. Correct.
Yeah, and you don't know if this is because if this is the Falcons team that's back on track, then it's a 50-50. It's one or the other. I mean, that's kind of a weird trade to me because to me you're not accomplishing anything. You're not because clearly if you're not addressing your need at wide receiver if you're giving up Julio Jones. So what are you addressing? What need are you addressing by making that trade? To me, that trade makes no sense because neither one of you is any better for it or necessarily any worse. You're just saying I think that guy might get injured more than this guy.
That's pretty much what I was trying to tell him too. It's like it's
a trade for a trade's sake.
Just make a side bet to see who'll be on the IR first.
Yeah, exactly, because that's really what it is. You don't know what. I mean, both these guys are prone to injuries at this time of the season. This is about the time that Julio Jones' foot gets aggravated.
Yeah.
And this is the time that AJ Green.
Little hamstring something.
Yeah, little hamstring. Exactly.
It's always a hamstring or a groin or something.
And so it's just so to me, this is a lateral move for both guys, and it doesn't address whatever their actual need might be. I mean, it really doesn't. So that was a tough week, man.
It was. I won again. I did great. I was on the other. Smile now, cry later. I was on the other side. I won by 40 points. So I'm on a little mini 2 or 3 game winning streak.
Let's really quickly, and we touched on this last time too. Let's talk once again about Sebastian.
Sebastian's in our league. He killed it again.
Dude, 167 or 175.
I feel like
it was an outrageous because he traded for Deshaun Watson for Cam Newton, and and then Deshaun out, and now Cam
is killing
4 fucking touchdowns.
Cam had a ridiculous game.
I mean, he looked like Cam from like rookie year. That Super Bowl season
Super Bowl
year.
MVP.
He looked like that, and now it's like okay, so I'm wondering.
And he has a New Orleans defense, but we shall see. I feel like every time we start the games, he already has 50 points off the bat.
Dude,
even though the game hasn't started, he's like, here's your 50 points.
Dude, it's amazing. And so he's got Kamara, he's got all these
killing it. Kareem.
So, but although Kareem Hunt's kind of been
people have been there's some guys out there on fantasy saying Kareem's it's kind of hitting that little rookie wall there,
A little bit, but there are others that are saying coming out of this bye week, that's what he needed to get recharged, get his body healthy again. And the Giants, talk about a get right game. It's just like Atlanta versus the Cowboys without Z. Like it's a good time for them to come out and for him to get right. And that's the thing is, once he gets right, he might be hard to stop going down the stretch.
I agree. So we're going to break down these games like we did last week, but we hope all you guys are...
Listen, I'm going to be the first to say...
Now it's the time, right? We only got a couple weeks left.
Hey, listen, this is the trade deadline. You have to look at your team. Who can you let go of? Who can you trade for? What do you have to address? I mean, with my teams, it's one of those things where, I don't know. It's like everyone's kind of at that same level. Like, it could be an amazing team. Everyone's been underperforming. Jordan Howard, Alshon Jeffrey's finally... starting to line up. Ajayi finally has a chance now that he's on the Eagles.
Yep.
So I feel like my team is finally just now going to really show what it's worth.
Yeah.
And that's the other thing. Fuck bye weeks. I'm sick of this shit. This isn't even my team on the field. You understand?
Yeah.
The team I built is not on the field.
I agree. I mean, you're so right. Sometimes the bye weeks come at the worst, inopportune time when you really need that victory.
You need that victory. You need that guy.
And you need that guy just to move up in your own standings. But the good thing, look, Greg's lost 2 tough games in a row, but the good news is that he's staying pat. He's still in the top 6. So he's fine.
Listen, all I want to do is make the playoffs because I really think my fully assembled team. Plus, I made some sneaky moves. I went and got Greg Olsen off the wire, and
he's supposed to come back.
He's supposed to next week.
Woodhead too. Okay.
And Woodhead too. So I mean, I got some sneaky extra plays that I might be able to make down the stretch. But the key though is Olsen because as we know, that tight end position so thin this year. So if you manage to sneaky grab Greg Olsen and put him on your bench down the stretch, I think that is going to be a very key piece.
Greg Olsen helped me win a championship 2 years ago. I mean, he's a beast. I agree.
Yeah,
and if the Panthers are looking like the Panthers like they did the other night, you know Cam's going to spread the wealth.
It's going to be right.
Curtis Samuel he's out for the year, so that's one less guy he's got to throw a rock to.
And Samuel was getting a lot of looks.
Samuel's getting a lot of looks, and now the main core guys is McCaffrey, Funches.
Yep.
And now
Olsen. Greg Olsen.
And, you know,
so
right now,
if you were smart enough to go out
Dixon's still doing the job.
He's doing okay.
But once what's his name comes back,
Olsen comes in, he's going to be their number 2 receiving option, bar none.
Absolutely. So
1 might be Funches or McCaffrey, but 2 every week will be Greg Olsen.
Now, let me ask you this. What's going on? I know so David Johnson isn't coming back, right, this year?
Well, you know, it's still up in the air.
Okay.
I think they're being real sneaky about it. They're saying he's not, you know, because of Adrian Peterson, but I think they're trying to run all the way off of Peterson right now in hopes that Johnson is able to go. Or they're just not in contention at that time. And if they're not in contention for the playoffs, they're not bringing him back. Okay. He's not coming back. So he's one of those guys, like I picked him up for a hot minute, but the reports don't look good.
Okay, all right. Well, now you guys know. Look, there's some guys out there still, like Greg was saying. You got, if there's Woodheads out there or Olsen, grab them now.
Grab them now because it might be better than making a trade. It might wind up being better than making a trade down the stretch. So let's go through the games really quickly. Let's get ready for Week 11.
Let's do it. Week 11 already.
Let's forget about Week 10.
And by the way, before
it was just a
let's say Happy Thanksgiving to you guys right now. We're really gonna get in these games. So okay, let's do this.
Let's do it. Here we go. It starts tonight. Right? Tonight, the Thursday night game.
Tennessee against Pittsburgh.
Tennessee versus Pittsburgh. What do you think?
I think I like Tennessee in this game. I'm gonna tell you why. The Colts put a big scare in the Steelers last week.
And it's the Colts.
And it's the Colts. And it's Brissett. This week they face, I feel like Tennessee's in first place too. It's not a slouch team. They're
right. And Mariota is back to running around.
Mariota's starting to come around. I have Mariota on my team. I'm not starting because I have Wentz. I'm not starting him either. Because I have Wentz.
Right.
So I'm
going with Derek Carr.
I have that luxury of benching Mariota. But listen, I like Tennessee in this game. I really do.
I do too, and because here, first of all, Thursday night games are weird. Mm-hmm. Although I do like Juju Smith-Schuster.
I like him too.
He's like the Tyreek Hill of this season. He's ripping those deep ones.
Martavis Bryant doesn't like Juju Smith.
Dude, no, he doesn't, dude. He's fucking straight up.
I need to ride my bike to practice too.
Yeah, I'm better than this motherfucker. Just throw me the fucking ball.
I'm a big fan of Juju Smith too, but he can get his. But I still like the Tennessee.
And Le'Veon Bell too. But yeah, because the defense is really what's been winning for Tennessee, not the points. They're winning with defense.
Yeah.
You know, I think if Ben Roethlisberger makes mistakes when he's pressured, he loves to throw interceptions. I think it's a very bad game. And here's the sneaky play, and I think this applies more to daily fantasy than if you need a win, it's a dart throw of a situation. Thursday night games, okay? Running backs coming off of big Sunday games tend to have shitty Thursday night games because there's not enough time to heal.
I agree.
Do they wind up leaning on Derrick Henry in the second half?
I have Derrick Henry, and guess what? I'm starting him tonight because I have my other running back, McCaffrey's on a bye. So, I'm going to roll the dice.
It is a dice roll.
Last week he had 11 carries for, I believe, 58 yards. So, and he was only out-carried by Murray by only 7 more touches.
Yeah.
So, you know what? I agree. Murray went off last week for 3 touchdowns. It's Derrick Henry time.
I think it is. I really do. Simply by virtue of wear and tear. Mm-hmm. And listen, I hope they play DeMarco Murray a ton in this game because this is literally the best opportunity we have for him to get hurt. And I say that because fuck you, DeMarco Murray. I've been waiting 2 seasons to play Derrick Henry with consistency, and DeMarco Murray knows. It's like Alex Smith knows.
He's looking over one shoulder.
You're looking over that shoulder at all times because Derrick Henry has the power, he has the talent, and the second he gets to really start for this team, they will trade DeMarco Murray.
I agree. So we both like Tennessee in this game. Maybe you guys do or don't, but I just like it. They're at home.
I think so. I think it's a Tennessee game. I like it, and I like Derrick Henry in the second half. If you need a flex play, if you need somebody in DFS that's probably going to be volume that I think is definitely going to get at least 1, maybe 2 touchdowns, I'm looking at Derrick Henry.
I agree.
He's my sneaky pick for daily fantasy. Okay, moving on. Let's start looking at some of these. Did this thing switch back on me? These cocksuckers.
No, you're right. You're right.
All right, here we go. Looking at Sunday 10 a.m. games. Tampa Bay at Miami.
Wow.
Yeah, it's kind of a toilet bowl right there.
But you know what? Actually, Tampa Bay looked decent against the Jets.
They did,
week.
actually, and they shut them down.
They shut them down. The defense looked great. Fitzpatrick was pumped up.
I was going to say the defense won that game.
The defense won that game.
Like 15
and Fitzpatrick
points.
was his good old self managing a game, not winning the game. So I like Tampa Bay in this game. Miami is just a mess.
Yeah, and here's the thing: a lot of people got excited because Kenyon Drake ripped off that big run last week.
He did, but it was late in the game.
And so now everyone's all Kenyon Drake. Listen, if you're counting on Kenyon Drake to save your season's already lost.
And who's the other running back that they have?
Damian Williams, who everyone just started dropping like flies, and I think Damian Williams is still the better back. But we'll see. I think it's a mystery.
But those two guys, they split the carries anyway, so it's up to you guys. If you guys don't have anybody else, I guess go with Damon Williams.
Or whatever. But I think Kenyon Drake is not going to be ripping another one of those off this week.
I was lucky last week because Parker and Landry had over 10 points for me, and that was okay. But
they did pretty good.
Who knows? I mean,
how do you win games with both the receivers?
And I've done it 3 times. I've been lucky.
He beat me
I'm not trying to do that on purpose. It's because Greg knows I had ODB as my first rounder, and he got out. So we're trying to do our best, but I just don't like Miami in this game at all. I feel like they quit. I think they lost 4 in a row too.
Yeah, I don't like Miami in this one either. I think it's going to be a tough game. I think Tampa Bay
and Mike Evans is back this week.
That's what I'm saying. And actually, again, another sneaky play. If you need a DFS, if you're going for higher price players on running back and receiver, maybe Ryan Fitzpatrick because he's got Mike Evans back. He did a pretty good job. And this is where Fitzpatrick thrives, is in the number 2 position.
He loves it.
He might have a pretty decent game. You and I agreed. Tampa Bay is probably going to walk with this.
Okay.
Arizona at Houston.
Wow. Arizona, Houston.
You got 2 backup quarterbacks.
You got 2 backup QBs.
And 2 decent defenses who, Arizona's defense, I think, is still playing harder than Houston's defense.
Houston's just been depleted with injuries. They have their best, couple of their Merciless and Watt are out for the year. You got Watson, who's it's just a devastating loss. I don't see them recovering. I see Arizona going there. And you know what? Peterson's running pretty damn good.
He is actually, and I think and Peterson is one of those guys, and he's been this way even before this season, where it's one great game, one shit game, one great game, one shit game. He just had the shit game, so expect a good game out of Adrian Peterson.
And they're giving him his touches.
They are. And that's one thing.
And Fitzgerald's still getting it done.
Dude, Fitzgerald. Well, that's the value of knowing they're going to hand it to Adrian. It makes the play action work like a charm. That is revived Fitzgerald's season. If before that started, Fitzgerald was having an okay hot and cold season. Now he's hot because all they got to do is, Adrian. Oh, not Adrian, Fitzgerald.
And you know what? Arizona could have won that game against Seattle. There were a couple of drop passes by some of the other receivers. So, Arizona's not bad. I like them on the road. I feel like Houston... I feel sorry for him. Like I said, your Astros won the World Series. You're good for a while now.
Yeah, that's what you get.
I can't feel sorry for you. So this game is not for you. Definitely, we both like the Cardinals.
Oh, completely. But the sneaky play, Cardinals defense, they're available on a lot of waiver wires. I'm in a difficult position because I have Seattle in all 3 leagues because I really thought, because they added the guy from the Jets and the Legion of Boom was fully together at the beginning of the season.
Yeah.
Now they've lost
Sherman. They lost Sherman, and I know what's his name. Thomas, is it?
Yeah, and Earl Thomas is
dinged up. But to their credit, they got somebody that's familiar with the defense, Vernon Maxwell, who the Dolphins give up on. He's not a bad corner. He knows the system. He's won a Super Bowl ring with them. So, you know what? I say stick with your Seahawks still.
Well, and I am, and also because they're at home.
They're at home too.
And with the 12th man bonus,
that gives you at least 2 sacks right there.
Right, like I'm like, as much as I would love to roll the dice on one of these other defenses, it's not going to happen when Seattle's at home.
And I believe Deion Jordan got you guys a sack last week too. Deion Jordan hadn't been in the league for 3 years. Remember, for substance abuse.
They're bringing up dudes
off the streets.
But they're a team that could take them and utilize them. Wilkerson, that's the guy they got from the Jets. He's
Wilkerson is still killing it. He's gonna be a Pro Bowler this year. Look, the Seahawks are gonna be the Seahawks still, even without Sherman.
Okay, but I believe at home, I still believe in the Seahawks.
You got to believe in the Seahawks. So, anyways, the next game we have is the Kansas City.
Kansas City of the Giants.
New York Giants.
Oh my God. This is the one that has everyone drooling. I mean, Tyreek Hill, they're listing Tyreek Hill as the #1 fantasy receiver going into this weekend. And this is a guy that doesn't get high volume of receptions.
We know the Giants have given up.
That is a given. They legitimately quit.
They have legitimately, but if they have any New York pride, I believe it's going to be one of those national games. I want to say, every time I think national games, I always think of Troy Aikman and Joe Buck. This might be one of those.
They're not sending Troy Aikman and Joe Buck to fucking New York call this game. Not a chance.
They might be sending somebody else.
Yeah.
They might be sending us. Yeah. Here's the thing. I feel it's just Kansas City at least by 12 points. Man.
At least. And the spread, I think, is somewhere around 11 10 points. Yeah. So it's all pointing towards Kansas. And Kansas City's coming off a bye week. So
if you got Chiefs, you're going to start. Probably the only one I would sit would be who?
Nobody.
Nobody. No, not even Kelsey.
You play the Chiefs.
If you got 4 Chiefs, start them all.
Start them all. No, absolutely. I mean, listen, look right there. Matthew Berry's love-hate right at the top is Alex Smith.
We feel this game is so lopsided that you know how like cheerleaders aren't allowed to go on the road. We feel like the Chiefs are going to bring their cheerleaders on the road. That's how lopsided this game is going to be.
Yeah, it should be brutal. Absolutely brutal. Next we have, oh my God.
We went from one brutal game to another. Go for it, Greg.
Jacksonville at Cleveland. Here's the problem I have. In my league of record, not my comedians league, my first league, I'm up against the guy who's second in the league, right? And he has the Jacksonville defense against Cleveland.
My biggest mistake was this year. I had Jacksonville.
And I let him go.
Only because it was a bye or something like that.
Yeah.
And look, you guys, Jacksonville's just ridiculous. I mean, they are ball hawking, Saxonville, I think they're calling it now.
Yeah.
They are just, what's the name's up for Defensive Player of the Year? Calais Campbell.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
I'm telling you,
this guy's going to get at least 30 points out of his defense. and I'm playing Seattle, a great defense, but I mean, I'm going to feel great if I get 14, 15 points.
I believe last week they returned like a punt for a touchdown.
They did great. 20 points. To beat 2-point conversion. They got a safety.
They're ridiculous. Jacksonville, I mean, look, Cleveland, to its credit, like, look how tough they played last week for one quarter. They don't play the full 4 quarters.
Yeah, they run out of hope around 6 minutes into the second quarter. They're like, fuck this. Why did we put on these bags?
Jacksonville all the way, guys.
Yeah, and that isn't worth discussing.
And you know what? I got Fournette. I'm starting him.
And listen, a lot of people picked up Marquise Lee off the waiver wire this week. The fact that he was still out there, I find amazing.
Hers is dinged up too. So
so Marquise Lee is going to be. You picked up a WR1 if you grab Marquise Lee.
Definitely.
Detroit and Chicago.
Go ahead.
Okay, now Detroit, of course, had that big game, right? But who against who?
It was against Cleveland, but they laid an egg for the first half.
Right. Chicago is a much, much better defense than Cleveland.
Definitely.
And a better offense, I think.
And this is a rivalry game. I feel Chicago was a little they were overconfident last week, and you saw it.
That's exactly what
they had a little too much swag for their own good.
They had seen the way Green Bay had given up the week before.
We got this.
Right? And they were like, okay, guys, and they ended up getting rocked. And here's the thing. I think they're going to be able to run the ball against Detroit. And I think that's going to keep Matt Stafford off the field. I think this is going to be a much tougher game for Detroit than it was last week.
You know what? I'm going to call an upset special. I think Chicago wins this game.
I think Chicago does too, actually.
So we both agree Chicago's going to win. It's going to be a close game. Because here's the thing. Detroit isn't that good. They have no run. They have somewhat of a running game. They'll get a couple runs here and there.
Yeah, it's tough to trust either one of them.
It's tough to trust Reddick or Abdullah.
Yeah.
I like Chicago. We both like Chicago in a bounce back game for them.
I really think that I think the thing is for them, they have to be able to run the ball. Mm-hmm. And for some reason, Jordan Howard cannot get traction against the Green Bay defense last week. But I think this week they control the ball that way. Although Detroit, I mean, the way they sling the ball, I got to be honest with you, I'm still picking Detroit to win.
So he's picking Detroit. I'm picking Chicago.
Yes, I think Detroit's going to win the game, but I think it's going to be a much. I don't think you get as much out of Stafford to the point that he winds up in the 22-23 range.
It'll be a close game. Like I said, he's picking.
But I think Detroit ends up winning it all.
He's picking Detroit. I'm picking Chicago to squeak by field goal or something.
There you go. Okay, Rams. This is the game.
This is a marquee game for us.
This is the Aikman Joe Buck game. Rams.
You're right.
Minnesota.
This is that game.
Because surprisingly, you got Rams at 7-2. You got Minnesota shockingly at 7-2.
Casey Keenum.
How did that happen?
And what's weird is Casey Keenum was on the Rams last year, so you know there's going to be.
He's giving them the inside dope.
So he's giving them the stuff. But it's a new offensive coordinator for the Rams, new coach. this is going to be a hell of a game.
And see, I don't know that it's going to be that hell of a game.
I want to see some points in this game.
I'll tell you why. I think it's going to be lower scoring than people think.
Okay.
Because the Rams, and I've said this before, and the Rams, much like the Eagles, have a way of meeting people at the right time, catching teams when they're reeling. And this is the first time they're playing a defense that not only is an elite defense, but a defense with a winning record who has every reason to fight hard. So, and they're in Minnesota. So this, to me, you want to know who the Rams are, we find out this Sunday.
And we're also going to know who the Vikings are, because look, this is probably the Vikings' biggest home game, probably since maybe they had Favre when they were in the playoffs from some years back. So
this is a huge
This
game
is a big let us know who you really are game for both teams. I don't know who to pick on this one. I'm kind of stuck, but if you're really going to push me, the Rams, I think I'm going to pick the Rams because they beat the Cowboys in Dallas when they were at full strength. It was a shootout. There's something about this offensive coordinator that I really like, and he's very innovative. I like the Rams, man, in a close game.
Wow. I mean,
that's just me.
Listen, I think we're going to learn a lot about it, but I think Minnesota gets it done. I think Minnesota gets it done with defense. They're both, and the Rams is a very good defense too. Don't get me wrong, they're very good defense. But at the end of the day, I think this Minnesota defense, I think maybe I think they put the hurt on Jared Goff. I think they really do. I think they stack that box. They force him to throw. They get after him. I think they shut down Todd Gurley. I think that, they have more versatility in the run game in Minnesota, having both McKinnon and Murray. So the two of them together, I think, is going to give them a little more versatility on that side of the ball. I like the receivers better in Minnesota. When you talk about Thielen, you talk about Diggs. I'm digging it. I got a feeling. I have Thielen in this game,
and Thielen went bonkers for me last week.
Yeah.
So look, I'm just telling you, I just think the Rams have a little bit more firepower, and their defense knows Casey Keenum too. So let's not forget that.
That's true.
So it's a pick-up game for. So I picked the Rams. He picks the Vikings.
I'm gonna go with the Vikings in that one. Baltimore, Green Bay, Baltimore. Listen, start the Baltimore defense.
And I got them. I picked them up. They were on the waiver wire. Our league, they always do goofy mistakes. Yeah. So I was like, oh, they're sitting around. I'm gonna get them. I like Baltimore in this game, straight up. What Green Bay did last week was weird. Hundley looked decent, but I don't see that happening 2 weeks in a row.
No, not at all. I think that was the rivalry game. I think they gave it all they got last week. Like that was the game they knew they had to win before they just trashed the rest of the season. I think Baltimore.
And you have Woodhead going in this game too.
No, because he's not back yet.
Oh, he's not back.
I think another week or
so.
But Macklin should have a big game.
What's it? Macklin
and Wallace, if he's back.
Do they have still Collins and the other guy?
Yeah, Alex Collins. Let's talk about that for 1 second. Alex Collins has been a furious disappointment for me. Buck Allen has been, the two of them, it's like, who's going to score?
We don't know who's going to get the rock out of both of those guys. But
this week, it might be a good week to play one or the other. I would go with Buck Allen and pure PPR upside.
Yeah,
if Alex Collins doesn't hit 100 yards, you get 6 points out of him, and it's disappointing as fuck.
So we both like the Ravens.
But definitely straight up Ravens. Washington at New Orleans. Okay, so Washington got bitch slapped at home.
They had their chances though.
There was a
couple of plays. Swap. There was a couple of plays. Like always, this is why I can't stand Kirk Cousins, because you could never fucking trust this guy in a big game, and I don't give a shit.
But he's had some big fucking games.
He's had some big games, but I mean, every time you need him to make that good throw, he'll throw a pick or some dumb shit will happen.
And as a Cowboys fan, I don't mind watching Washington lose. I was only upset that they lost because it ruined my parlay. But I was fine with them losing. The Cowboys wound up losing, so at least we're there.
I like New Orleans so much in this game. They're won 7 in a row. Their defense is legit right now.
Their defense is sick.
I'm telling Kamara, they got a shutdown corner now in Lattimore, defensive rookie of the year already. Definitely take New Orleans. Hey, I'm starting Breeze and some other thing. I don't want to tell you. I want to disclaim it, but New Orleans all day on this one. It's not even close.
Kind of shady shit was that.
You see that? Another thing. What about you, man?
I'm New Orleans all day.
New Orleans all day.
They're gonna run all over them. And now I think it'll be a tougher game.
Yeah. It'll be tougher, but then they'll pull away by 10 points.
Yeah.
I do like if you guys get a chance to start this receiver for the Redskins, Dotson is getting a lot of love.
Yeah. He's starting to show up.
He's starting to show up.
Because Grant got injured.
He had a key drop. He had 2 key drops last week where they settled for field goals instead of touchdowns, but Dotson's getting a lot of targets now. Yeah. But Terrell Pryor is MIA, missing in action.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Dude, Terrell Pryor, a guy dropped him in our league this week.
Yeah.
And no one's rushed to pick him up.
Nobody wants to pick him up.
Because
he's getting maybe 2 targets a game.
And this was one of those guys that at the beginning of the season, when it came to draft time, I'm like, this looks good on paper.
It sure does.
But we've seen this not work out before. And this is one of those situations where, like, how does he not producing with this fucking guy? It was like the year that DeAndre Hopkins couldn't produce with Brock Osweiler. You're like, on paper, it should be amazing, and it's not. So, yeah.
We both like New Orleans this game.
Oh, completely.
If you guys got players to start, cool. I have Vernon Davis starting for the Redskins. He's been doing fine with me.
Yeah.
Because Jordan Reed he's always hurt. So.
I'm trying to pick up. Someone dropped Vernon Davis. I'm trying to pick him up in another league.
Okay.
Buffalo at the Chargers.
Go ahead.
I mean, here's the thing. I thought this would be a good game until they named Peterson the new quarterback in Buffalo. What the fuck is that?
We don't even know who that is.
Who the fuck
I don't
is
even
this?
think Peterson knows who he is.
Yeah.
So here's the thing. He was like, "Are you sure?" He was like, "Are you starting me? Are you sure?
I'm on the helmet. Where's my helmet?
Here's my pads." But here's the thing.
He was a barista.
But the Chargers
on the sidelines. He was making. Oh shit! I'm in. Oh.
So we have the Chargers that Philip Rivers a game time decision.
Right, because of concussions.
So
he'll play. I think he'll play.
I like the Chargers at home. The Buffalo looked pathetic last week, didn't they?
Dude, and now
you and I thought that maybe because of cold weather game.
I thought because of the cold weather game.
It wasn't that cold
for New Orleans. Was it New Orleans?
It was the Saints. Yeah.
Oh yeah, they went over and butt fucked them so
like
fucking
41
bad.
41 to 10.
So bad. I don't think it was cold enough. Is the thing. I think it was still the weather was. Thanks global warming, you cost us that one. But the idea of benching Tyrod Taylor for this kid Peterson,
They've obviously given up on him.
Yeah, I mean, it ruins
gone.
Charles Clay's. I mean, you don't know what these guys are worth now. Calvin Benjamin, who knows if this guy can get him the ball? You know, I mean, and I thought the problem last week was just trying to integrate 2 guys at once. Charles Clay, who'd been missing for many games, and Calvin Benjamin, who's brand new and barely knows the fucking playbook. And I thought that the reason they kind of had trouble, same reason the Cowboys, was their chemistry was all off because of the new pieces. But I didn't think it was anything that you go and pull Tyrod Taylor for Peter. I don't know. I don't know how they think.
I mean, look, I don't know what's going on, but any Chargers you'd like to play, they obviously... Maybe Rivers in this guy?
I mean, obviously, you know, Melvin Gordon. People are like, oh, by the way, Eckler. Okay, this is another one-hit wonder. Okay, everyone's all like, oh, you got to get Eckler. No, you don't. Okay, that was a one-hit wonder. That was a one-game, just like the Kenyon Drake thing. Okay, don't go fucking. Everyone went nuts for Eckler. Guess what? Eckler's ain't gonna do shit this week.
That was like the time when everybody went crazy over McKissick.
Yeah, McKissick, exactly.
McKissick.
2 touchdowns on McKissick. I went crazy over it. I was like, oh my God, McKissick. Which, by the way, I still think they should commit to McKissick because I still think he's the strongest option they have in Seattle.
So we both like the Chargers in this game.
Absolutely,
it's not even close.
Okay, Cincinnati and Denver. This is another one where like the defenses are both strong plays. Mm-hmm. Right?
Yeah.
Now, the Denver defense we've seen kind of lay off the gas.
We don't know what's going on with them, man. The no-fly zone is no longer in effect.
It is fly around
ever since the Eagles brought the birds on them, they have not been the same.
Yeah, man, it's been brutal. So I mean, it's kind of a toilet bowl. Mm-hmm. You know, Cincinnati at Denver. Wow.
You know, maybe it might be a shootout. Who knows? I mean, if you got AJ Green, obviously start him.
I think you got to go with Cincy in this one.
And I like Cincy too. I like Cincy
because Denver just can't generate
they lost
offense.
4 in a row, dude. They can't. And who's their quarterback? Is it Osweiler still?
It's still Osweiler.
Oh man, they haven't even committed back to Simeon. Simeon's, you know.
Although I'll be honest, Osweiler looked better than Simeon.
Who did they lose to last week?
Who was it?
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I don't know.
It was an irrelevant game last week. I think it's going to be another relevant game.
Yeah, it's
garbage. I think Cincinnati wins this game.
But, I mean, I'll tell you what. If you had, what's his name? Sanders.
Emmanuel Sanders.
And listen, you got to be killing yourself if you have Demaryius Thomas. Because it's like Demaryius Thomas was just a decoy for Emmanuel Sanders last year. That may just be the way Osweiler's going to run that offense. And if that's, I mean, if you have
Demaryius Thomas. He does have chemistry with Emmanuel Sanders.
Like, completely. And Emmanuel Sanders had a huge day. I would expect that to continue because I don't know that Cincinnati can stop that necessarily. But ultimately, I don't know. This game, 2, 3, and 6 teams. It's a toilet bowl. I think the thing ends up, I think Cincinnati wins it, though, something like 17-10.
Yeah, it'll be a close game.
Or 17-9.
Something like that. But whatever. We both like Cincinnati.
Yeah, it's garbage. Atlanta at Seattle.
I mean, You first, because this is your defense.
Listen, I'm counting on this Seattle defense. I mean, 12th man, the whole thing. I'm counting on all of it to add up to points. I need you, baby. I need you bad. So, and Atlanta, I mean, that's the thing. We will find out. Was it a get-right game against the Cowboys, or were the Cowboys just reeling that hard and it was a great game?
Hold on. You hear that? That's the same defensive end that just got another sack.
Fuck yourself.
Listen, are you kidding me? This guy
fucking Predator, that guy?
Yeah, this guy, I don't know who that guy was, but obviously Defensive Player of the Week, probably the month now, because he had 6 sacks in one game. Do I see that happening again? Hell
Fuck
to the
no.
Listen, I like Seattle at home. I don't trust Atlanta yet. Even with no Sherman, they got, like I said, they picked up Vernon Maxwell. They're gonna be fine. 12th man at home. I like Russell Wilson and Seahawks.
I think so too. I think Seattle takes them back to where they were before the bye.
I say 24-10, something like that.
Yeah. No, I'm with that. I think it'd be a little bit more. I mean, Atlanta scores, Seattle scores. I think it winds up being more like a 28-21.
Okay.
That kind of vibe for Seattle. Gosh, I gotta tell you, man. I hate to say it, but I think Atlanta might win this game. I don't know.
Nah. I don't think
Seattle's too tough.
You gotta stick with the Seahawks on this.
Yeah.
And I believe the last game,
let's see,
is obviously my team. It is Raiders and Patriots.
Oh yeah, there it is. Yes, Monday night.
Let me take the hinge on this.
Okay,
it's not Monday night. It is Sunday night. It's Sunday. Actually, they moved the time to 1:25 Pacific.
Oh, that's right.
In Mexico City. This is a home game for the Raiders. This is the second year in a row we played in Mexico City.
I love home game for the Raiders. That's true.
And it is considered a home game. Yeah. So I feel, now I'm not just being biased, I'm a Raider fan, but I feel like this is the game that's make or break for their season. And I think they're going to show up. And I think that offense is going to be ready to fire on all cylinders.
Wow.
And I think Derek Carr, you got him. You're starting him for a reason. I feel like this is the week he gets 4 touchdowns. I said it.
Wow.
I think so. I think New England.
Now, I will say this: New England's secondary. I mean, they have allowed 6 out of 9 opposing quarterbacks to throw for over 300 yards. The Derek Carr, coming off a bye week, should be rested, should be ready to play. I mean, I could see it kind of going that way, but I don't, because New England is a team that all that was done before the defense really gelled. The defense is now gelled, and when they showed it against the Chargers, that's when they really came together. I think it's going to be a tough game, especially if they can't, this thing with not really using Marshawn Lynch, like a little here. No, they need to fully start using him up. Now is the time. But the
Raiders, like last year, play better when it's DeAndre Washington and Jalen Richard. Those are the running backs. We got Lynch to sell tickets. That's it. Listen, trust me. This game, 35-21 Raiders.
Well, you heard the Boy, he is playing fantasy football, isn't he?
This is a fantasy score right there.
There's no fucking way that happens. New England wins this one, walking away, 31-24.
Well, there you go.
Lock it up right now. Okay, so and then, of course, the night game on Sunday.
Okay, this is your time. You can go first.
Why?
Prime time.
This is the thing about being America's team. Even when you're getting butt fucked, it's still in front of all of America. They don't hide you at 10 a.m. when you're fucking America's team. They fucking put you right there. They put you against the #1 team in the league, and they say, here's your team, America. Which, granted, if we still had Zeke, I would be drooling at this opportunity. But I will say this, Cowboys, please listen to me. Look at the hat. Look at the shirt. Run the ball. Okay? Yeah, Alfred
Even if
Morris,
it's by committee, run the damn
Run the fucking ball. If you don't have the receiving core, Dak Prescott isn't that kind of a quarterback. Okay? He needs play action. We need to control the clock. But let's be real.
Okay. Time for some tough love.
Go ahead.
I feel that this is a game, if the Cowboys lose 5-5 on a short week, playing on Thanksgiving, the Cowboys have to put all their eggs in one basket for this game. They lose this game, I believe they're 4 games out. This is a must-win for Dallas. You don't want to go 5-5 going into a short week Thanksgiving game.
Why did I let you go on my podcast?
I'm telling you, I think the Cowboys show up for this game. I think they show up for this game, and they might upset. I'm picking the Cowboys to upset the goddamn Eagles. I'm going to tell you why. They're going to control the clock. They're at home. They are at home,
They're
right?
at home, yeah.
They know what's riding, and Cowboys I believe, have an excellent record coming off, a Sunday win, going into a Thanksgiving win. So Cowboy fans, I hate to say this, but keep your head up. All is not lost. I feel like Greg said, run the rock,
run the ball.
Throw to your tight end, throw to Cole Beasley. Dez gonna get doubled up, but a key injury. I just found this out today. Ronald Darby is out for the rest of the year. He's a great corner or secondary guy for the Eagles. I like the Cowboys in this game.
Wow. I never really thought that was about to come out of his mouth. I'm going with the Eagles. No, I'm kidding. I have to stick with my Cowboys. I have to believe, because they can win this game if they trust the running game. Last week, they just abandoned it. They were like, fuck it, it's not working, and just started, it was the most panicked Cowboys team I've seen in 2 years.
Here's what's riding right now. If you lose this game,
it's over.
You could easily go 5-10, 5-11, or maybe 6-10. It could be one of those years.
Yeah.
But if you win, you're looking at maybe 11-5, 10-6. You make the playoffs. You get Zeke back. That's how important this game is.
That is how important this game is.
Cowboy fans, have faith. I feel you guys will win by more than 3 points. It's going to be a close game, but you got to control the clock. Wentz is obviously the front runner for the MVP.
It is about controlling the clock.
You got to keep him off the field.
But I think now that they'll have an opportunity to fully integrate Ajayi, I think that and listen, I'm going to be rooting for my Cowboys.
It's going to be a tough game, but I feel like too much is riding. Listen, Cowboy Nation is on alert. They are the headlining game. They're obviously the showcase game of the week. Yep. This is it for you guys. If you lose going on a short week on Thanksgiving, it could really start. You could be 5-6 or 6-7-4. That's how important this game is.
Yeah, man.
So I like the Cowboys. Greg likes the Cowboys. He's a Cowboy fan, but I'm looking as an outsider looking in. I think you guys have a chance in this game.
And then who's the Monday night game? Let me see if I can. Monday night. Oh, we already did it.
We already did it.
That's right.
We saved the best for last.
Yeah, the best, of course, obviously the most important to me.
And as far as plays in this game, if you have Dak, I like Dak in big games.
Yeah.
Dak.
He's a big time. He's like Deshaun Watson that way. He's a big game player.
He's a big
game player. He shows up and does his best. He
runs the ball well.
This is a great week to actually play Dak.
Dak, and maybe some Cole Beasley love. I don't know.
Although if you don't care one way or the other, I would play the Philly defense.
Philly defense, because they're very opportunistic.
They are very opportunistic, and I could see them.
They'll get you one.
After Atlanta got 6 sacks on us.
Philly and Philly's defense is way better than Atlanta.
If we're being realistic, we're talking about the harsh reality. Mm-hmm. The Philly defense is a great play this week.
And as far as the running back situation, who are you like in the Cowboys?
On the Cowboys, if you have one, you're playing Morris. Yeah. They used a lot of Rod Smith, but mostly as a blocker last week, so we don't know what kind of wheels he's got. Really, they put in McFadden for like 3 fucking plays. Like, they just got to figure out the run game, stick to the run game, don't abandon the run game, open up the pass and get some yards. But I feel like right now, if I'm being honest, Philadelphia is so hot. Aguilar, I think, is finally going to get back involved. I think Ajayi is going to be fucking electric.
Obviously, they have a Pro Bowl tight end. They have the Pro Bowl tight end.
If I'm being completely honest, I don't see the Cowboys winning this game. I really.
But he's picking the Cowboys. That's his team. But
I
feel they have a chance because too much is riding, and based on what happened last year, that's the same thing. That's the way I feel about the Raiders. They overachieved. So did the Cowboys. So they both have must wins this week. They got it.
There it is.
There it is, baby.
All right, guys. You guys, good fantasy footballing.
You know where to follow us, at Manny Maldonado on Twitter.
That's right.
Manny to the Max with the number 2 on Instagram.
That's right. At The Greg Wilson on Twitter, at The Greg Wilson 1 on Instagram and on Facebook. We're right into it. Starts tonight with the Pittsburgh-Tennessee game. We'll see how that goes.
We'll see how that goes, you guys. Like I said, to recap, we both like Derrick Henry as a play this week.
Yeah.
And
if you have Derrick Henry, it might be a good week to play him.
Obviously, if you guys have the Pittsburgh defense, you start them. But maybe if Tennessee's floating around their defense, you never know. Might as well pick them up too.
Might be a good one. All right, guys.
All right, you guys. Peace.
Good luck. See where we dirt. Where's the end button? There we go.